Stop lying to yourself. It's an act of self-love and tremendous courage. Clean up those small white lies and the big blind spots, and don't stop with this. Make it a habit. In this episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about one of the key components to scaling your life and your business. And it comes down to honesty and accuracy. First, let's talk about why you might want to grow. What's so important about that? Well, you have what is called a more life directive. All human beings are born with this. Some human beings activate around it and some ignore it. But we are all born with the desire for more life, for expansion, for growth, to become the best possible version of ourselves. And we are either going to be in alignment with that, meaning working in conjunction with the more life directive, or we are going to be at counter purposes to it, self-sabotaging, keeping ourselves small, keeping ourselves from growing. So you want to work with the way the universe works. You want to work with this more life directive so that you can get out of the struggle. The struggle comes from doing things that are out of alignment with the laws of the universe. The struggle comes from, in this case, saying that you want more, knowing that you want more, but not doing the things that will allow you to be more and grow. So from a business side of things, we don't want to struggle either. Okay. There's no, like, if you're looking at this in your business, you want growth there as well. And you do not want to be in the struggle there. This is a common complaint, a common issue with women in business, that they're hitting blocks and challenges and it feels like a struggle and they can't move past it. So in order to really grow in your business and be able to serve more people, help more people, and of course, make more money so that you have the resources for yourself to enjoy life, to support your family, and to expand more, right? There's that more life directive again. You are here for growth. And if you do not have the resources, the financial resources to grow, you won't be working with the laws of the universe, that more life directive, and you will find yourself struggling. You'll find yourself frustrated, irritated, uncomfortable about what's happening in your life. So in order to grow, you must let go of what's no longer serving you. That's one of the key components of growth. This is the law of sacrifice. The law of sacrifice says you must let go of something of a lower nature in order to call in something of a higher nature. Now, that thing of a higher nature is where your growth is. It's where you're going, okay? It's what you want to move into. And you must look at what's holding you back, what's keeping you at the same level. If you want to grow your business and you're not doing that at the rate that you want, maybe you're doing it incrementally, maybe you're doing it a little bit at a time, but you're not doing it at the rate that you want, you must look at what's holding you back. And you must be like a butterfly going through its metamorphosis and shedding its previous form of caterpillar and chrysalis and transforming into that winged, beautiful butterfly. This is what happens when you let go of what's no longer serving you. The form of caterpillar is no longer serving the butterfly, so it sacrifices it. Allowing it to transform and grow into more. And you must do the same thing in your life and your business. You must let go of the old forms of being, the old containers that you have for yourself, and shed them. Sometimes that sacrifice is harder than it is for a butterfly, because the butterfly is working simply on instinct, and human beings have the power of choice. And sometimes we don't choose the highest and best for ourselves because we are stuck in fears and old patterns and programming that keep us limited. So let's talk about the things that you must consider letting go of. There are so many things you must consider letting go of. Things like places that you're living that are not up to your standards of beauty or spaciousness, or maybe it's too big and you want a smaller place. You've moved beyond where you're at. Maybe it's up-leveling your clothes or your car or the furniture that you have, or your team members or the support staff or your mentor or your coach, right? There are people in your life that you will want to let go of that have served you well, that then you move to the next level with. So that could be your partners in business. That could be your romantic partners. That could be friends, family members even. And those can be challenges to let go of for sure. You also are going to want to look at your behavior patterns, your ways of being, your attitudes, your old beliefs about yourself, others, the universe, the way the universe works. You might need to let go of old programming around how you think life works. You must also let go of all the habits of thinking that are no longer conducive to being the woman who has experienced the financial, business, and personal growth that she desires. See, that woman who has what you want thinks differently, and you can't have what she has from the level you're currently at. At your level, you're going to get the results that you're currently getting. That's the law. That's the way it works. You must up-level yourself. You must up-level your thinking, your level of awareness, your habits, your behaviors, the choices that you make, all of that. Yet most people are addicted to the way they're currently being. They're attached to it. They don't want to look at how they're being and how it's not serving them because they're afraid of being wrong, of not being enough. And that is too painful. And yet you must look at that. Most people will do anything to protect themselves and defend their current level of behavior, their current level of thinking. But what got you here won't get you there. That's an adage, but it's absolutely 100% true. You must change. You must grow. You must expand. There is no other way. It's the law. It's the law of more life. Put another way, let's look at this amazing quote by Leland van der Waal. That's the name of this person who said this. He said, "The degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth he can accept about himself without running away." Let me repeat that. The degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth he can accept about himself without running away. If we really look at that quote and break it down, and if we want to grow, we must accept the truth about ourselves. Then we must ask two questions. Where am I not in truth with myself? And two, where am I running away? Answering both of these is going to illuminate the situation for you. So let's start. You've got to ask yourself first, where am I not in truth with myself? And answer it honestly. Now, let me pause here and talk about blind spots. Blind spots, by definition, are things you cannot see for yourself. You are blind to them. You must move into a higher level of awareness in order to see them. Oftentimes that takes something or someone outside of yourself to help you bring truth and light to what is currently unseen for you. By definition, a blind spot is something in your behavior, your thinking, your way of being that you cannot see. It's a spot that is blind to you. And things that you cannot see are, these blind spots are unintentional lies. They are beliefs that are illogical, but are held nonetheless. These are the stories, the beliefs, the programming that we hold that is untrue, and yet we are committed to them for many, many reasons. Here's an example of one that recently occurred with a client that was uncovered by her really going through the process of shining a light on what was happening in her life and her business. So she was making good money, but never seemed to have enough. She couldn't get ahead. And I know many of you are familiar with that struggle. It's like you're making money, but you can't get ahead, even though her business was actually growing. I was coaching her on creating a wealth account, paying herself first, where she put 10% of her revenue away. And she was struggling with this, the idea of paying herself first, almost not doing it. I would say her behavior was unconsciously saying that she wasn't worth it. She wasn't seeing that, but that's what her behavior was saying. That was the lie, in fact. And in addition, she was saying she wasn't good with money. And then she saw that lie, that she had unconsciously actually picked this up in her childhood, that her parents had told her that this was how she was, not good with money, selfish, and didn't deserve really to have the money. And she had bought that hook, line, and sinker. She believed it. She had always been told that, both articulated out loud, but also in just their behavior pattern and how they treated her. And when she saw this lie, because that is what it is, and how it was driving her current behavior, she was no longer beholden to it. She could then sacrifice it using the law of sacrifice and let it go. And then grow, meaning receive and experience what she wanted. And that immediate week, she filled her workshop to beyond what she had set as her goal and had a very successful workshop and brought in new potential clients and is in the act of receiving much more money as a result of that. But she had to see this blind spot in order to get in flow in the actions that she needed to be taking in her business in order to grow it. Okay, this is how it works, guys. So you will have blind spots. There is no doubt about that. There's no one who doesn't have blind spots. You will have blind spots. You will not see things that are lies, and it requires the bright light of truth to be shown on it to unpack these and move forward. So let's just pause there for a moment and say, are you willing to accept that level of truth that you have blind spots? Because some people don't want to see that. Some people want to say, I am what I am, and I know everything about myself, and I see everything, and all I have to do is will myself forward, force myself to do the work, or some kind of story like that. Are you willing to see that there are unconscious blind spots that you hold in your thinking that are programmed in there? And until you identify those and unpack those, you will be in struggle. That's a level of truth and honesty that you need to start seeing with yourself. So to answer the question, where am I not in truth with myself? Start with your results. Where are you not getting the results that you want in your life and your business? You have to look at your results. They will shine a light of truth on exactly what's going on. Let's take a business example here. Let's say you're not making as much money as you want to be making. So what is the cause of receiving money? Well, money comes from spirit, from source, from the universe, through people, through sales. That's how it works, guys. If you are not making sales, that's the mechanism that moves money from one person to another. If you are not in the activity of sales, okay, when we say, oh, I'm not making sales, that puts it out there like there's this magic thing out there that's going to happen for you. If you are not actively in the activity of making sales, you will not be calling in money to your business. It then becomes a hobby, guys. But if let's say you're making some money, but you'd like to make more money, you do have to focus on sales. Sales is the mechanism that moves money from one person to another. So you've got to get really honest with yourself about this. Are you actively involved in sales? And what is the story that you are creating there about not making sales? Are you saying that you're too busy, that you have other work to do, that there's no time, that there's nobody that's going to buy it in your region, in your geography? It's the economy. There are no clients out there, that nobody knows who you are, that you need to do something else first. What are the stories that you are actually telling to yourself? Maybe it's like everyone else comes first. The kids come first. The house comes first. The partner comes first. All of these things are lies. The truth is, listen up here. The truth is, you don't want it badly enough. If you did, you would create the time, or you would work with someone to help you with your blind spots, so you would be in flow and creating the time to do this. Money doesn't rain from the sky while you stare at your belly button. There are causes to effects. The law of cause and effect says you must put the right causes into effect to get the results that you want. Sales is that cause, but there is a cause before that cause. And that is, you must feel good, valuable, worthy of receiving that money and of helping people. And if you are blocked in your level of self-worth and valuing of yourself, you will not show up and do the work that you must do in your business. So yes, you can create marketing and sales systems, and they can work beautifully, and you will want to do this. And they can be very elaborate, and they can be a hands-off kind of thing in many, many ways. But fundamentally, you have to put the effort in at the front end to make that happen. And you have to put the effort, the oversight effort in to keep them going. And listen up here, those systems, they can be very simple as well. Like simply picking up the phone and having a conversation with a potential client. It can be very easy. So what are your excuses? Are you willing to get honest with yourself about this, about what your excuses are? Take a moment to really think about that. What are the lies that you're telling yourself? This doesn't mean you don't have problems that need to be solved. In fact, when you go through this process, it will show you exactly what problems need to be solved and what you need to do about those problems if you're honest with yourself. Let's say the lie is, I don't have time. This is not true. Everyone has the same amount of time. We choose how we spend it. Again, how truthful are you going to be with yourself? You must take personal responsibility here. You are choosing to spend your time on one thing, not another. And so it goes at each stage of thinking. When you're honest with yourself, you realize you need to make different decisions about how you're spending your time. Are you willing to do that? You're capable of doing this. Everyone has the ability to make a different choice and a different decision. Are you capable of doing it? Yes. Are you going to identify the blind spot that's keeping you stuck in the lie, that's causing you not to prioritize the action in your business that will allow you to grow? That's the question. That's the real question at this juncture. Okay, now let's move on to the second question that I mentioned earlier, which is, where am I running away? Now, to answer this, you must first look at how you are running away. Do you do that by distraction, procrastination, Busy work? Do you do that by being a workaholic, working all the time, just getting yourself into overwhelm, exhaustion? Do you put too much on your plate? Are you in anxiety, depression, ill health of any kind? This will shut you down. Do you overindulge in alcohol, drugs, shopping, food, sex? Are you addicted to these things? Are you addicted to hard? Are you addicted to being wrong? Are you fighting with people? Are you constantly having that negative criticism of others in your head? Are you always in judgment? Are you distracted by that inner self-talk? Is that how you run away from your truth, what you need to see about yourself? There are so many ways that people run away from the truth that they need to see. How do you run away? And can you get honest about that? Can you acknowledge that this is what you're doing, that you're actually running away from the truth? That's a level of honesty right there that you need to bring to your life and your business. Then you must stop running away and look at what you're doing. Identify what you're running from. When you stop the activity that you do to keep yourself from running away, you will be able to see what you're running away from. What are you trying to avoid? Really look at that. Are you hiding from some way that you are showing up that's out of integrity with yourself? Where you're saying you want something, but you're actually not living that thing out, not doing the hard things, doing the work to do that. Where you've made a commitment, but you're not keeping your word to yourself. These kinds of places where you're out of integrity and you're running away not only keep you from growing, but our energy sucks. You must clean this up in order to get out of your own way, step out of confusion, stop playing small, and actually scale your business. Stop lying to yourself. It's an act of self-love and tremendous courage. Clean up those small white lies and the big blind spots, and don't stop with this. Make it a habit. Make it a cleanup habit for yourself. Be unstoppable around this, because the amount of growth that you can experience is unlimited. But it's up to you to step into it. It's up to you to sacrifice the lies and step into the growth. Remember, the degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional to the amount of truth he's willing to accept about himself without running away. Hey there, my friend. Do you resonate with what you just heard? Then head over to our free resource page and get more of our good stuff, including our free Unstoppable Woman Playbook and Money Breakthrough System. You'll find that and more at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.